Hel, the goddess and her realm of the dead. Part 1. Daughter of Loki. Why is death half beautiful, half rotting? The enigmatic figure of Hel, daughter of Loki, and the giantess Angerboda embodies a profound duality that resonates through Norse mythology. Her very appearance, half beautiful maiden and half decaying corpse, offers a stark visual representation of this paradox. This unsettling image is not merely a grotesque detail, but a symbolic embodiment of death itself, an inseparable blend of an end and a transformation. The beauty hints at the release, the peaceful sleep, or even the potential for rebirth that some cultures associate with death, while the decay undeniably portrays the physical corruption and the sorrow of loss that accompanies it. This duality suggests that death is never a simple, singular event, but a complex tapestry of contrasting elements. Loki's offspring often reflect his own chaotic and multifaceted nature, and Hel is no exception. Her unique physiognomy can be interpreted as a divine representation of the inescapable reality that life and death are intrinsically linked. One cannot exist without the other, and death, while often feared, is also a natural and integral part of the cosmic cycle. Her mixed appearance serves as a constant reminder that the end of life is not purely horrific, but possesses a strange, almost unsettling grace, an inherent order within the apparent chaos of decay. This vision challenges a simplistic understanding of mortality, urging a deeper contemplation of its various facets. The gods' decision to cast Hel into the Underworld, granting her dominion over the dead, was a strategic move to contain the potential threat she represented, much like her monstrous siblings Fenrir and Jormungandr. However, this act also solidified her role as the ultimate arbiter of the departed, establishing her as a powerful and essential cosmic force. Her dual nature, therefore, is not just a personal characteristic, but a reflection of the very function she serves in the mythological universe. She is the guardian of a realm where the beautiful memories of life fade into the cold reality of eternal rest, where the vibrant spirit encounters the stillness of the grave. This half-and-half appearance also provides a psychological insight into how ancient Norse cultures grappled with the concept of death. It acknowledges the revulsion and grief associated with physical decomposition, yet simultaneously recognizes a form of inherent balance or even dignity in the process. It is a visual metaphor for the idea that even in death, there is an intrinsic order, a natural progression that, while perhaps unsettling, is ultimately necessary. Hel's image prevents a purely romanticized view of the afterlife, grounding it in the stark biological reality of mortal existence. Her existence challenges the simplistic categorization of good and evil. Hel, despite her fearsome domain, is not inherently malicious. Instead, her appearance speaks to a cosmic neutrality, a powerful force that simply Slinen is. She embodies the cold, hard truth that death comes to all, regardless of their deeds, yet its arrival also marks a transition. The decaying half represents the physical world's abandonment, the loss of form, while the beautiful half might hint at the soul's journey, the continuation of existence in a different state, even if that state is one of stillness and shadow. The juxtaposition of beauty and decay in Hel's form ensures that no one can approach the concept of death lightly. It forces contemplation on the transient nature of life and the inevitability of its conclusion. Her image is a constant memento mori, a reminder not just of death's horror, but also its profound, inescapable presence in the fabric of the universe. It is a powerful symbol that refuses to be simplified, much like the multifaceted experience of death itself. Her lineage as Loki's daughter certainly contributes to her unconventional nature, making her a figure of both fear and fascination. Part 2. The Realm of Shadows. Is Helheim punishment or refuge? Helheim, the sprawling realm over which Hel presides, presents a complex picture that defies easy categorization as either pure punishment or comforting refuge. Unlike the fiery torments of some other mythologies or the glorious feasting halls of Valhalla, Helheim is characterized by its overwhelming cold, its desolate landscapes, and a pervasive sense of stillness. It is a place of eternal twilight, separated from the vibrant world of the living by formidable rivers and dark echoing caverns. Yet within this somber description, there is an absence of active suffering or deliberate torture for most of its inhabitants, suggesting a different purpose than mere retribution. For those who die of illness, old age, or by unheroic means, Helheim is their ultimate destination. This immediately distinguishes it from Valhalla, which is reserved for warriors slain bravely in battle. The criteria for entry into Helheim are not based on moral failing, but on the circumstances of one's demise. This suggests that Helheim serves as a natural consequence of certain forms of death, a designated space for the majority of humanity. In this sense, it is less a place of divine judgment and more a necessary repository, a cosmic waiting room for the vast numbers of the deceased who do not qualify for the warrior's paradise. The descriptions of Helheim emphasize its bleakness rather than overt pain. It is a realm of shades, of those whose earthly journey has ended and whose existence continues in a muted, shadowy form. The cold, the fog, and the general lack of warmth contribute to an atmosphere of profound melancholy and resignation. This might be seen as a form of suffering in itself, the absence of joy and vitality. However, it is a passive suffering, a quiet endurance, rather than the active torment found in other infernal visions. The very stillness of the realm could, in a paradoxical way, be seen as a form of peace, an end to earthly struggles and anxieties. Consider the journey to Helheim, often described as arduous, involving crossing the river Gjol and passing the watchful hound Garmar. This challenging passage reinforces the idea of Helheim as a distinct and separate existence, difficult to reach and even more difficult to leave. Once within, the dead are said to remain there, under Hel's unwavering dominion. This permanence, while perhaps daunting, also offers a form of finality, an ultimate resting place, where the cycle of life and death finds its resolution, even if that resolution is cloaked in perpetual gloom. For some, particularly those who led lives without great glory or infamy, Helheim might indeed represent a refuge. It is a predictable destination, a known quantity after death. It offers a form of communal existence with others who share a similar fate, a quiet fellowship in the shadows. Unlike the constant striving and conflict of the living world, Helheim provides an eternal stillness, a release from the burdens of mortal life. It is a place where the clamor of the world fades, replaced by an enduring quietude, a permanent lull. Ultimately, whether Helheim is punishment or refuge depends largely on the individual's perspective and their expectations for the afterlife. For a warrior craving Valhalla, it would certainly be a bitter disappointment, a place of unfulfilled glory. For someone simply seeking an end to suffering, a quiet resting place, it might be exactly what they need. Helheim is perhaps best understood as a neutral zone, a necessary component of the Norse cosmos, fulfilling its role as the destination for the majority of the dead, offering them a quiet, if somber, eternity under the watchful eye of its unique queen. Part 3. The Dead Who Enter. Who Walks Her Cold Halls? The vast, chilling halls of Helheim are not indiscriminately open to all souls, but are reserved for a specific category of the deceased. Primarily, those who succumb to illness, old age, or die without the glory of battle find their eternal home within Hell's shadowy domain. This distinction is crucial in understanding the Norse afterlife, as it delineates a clear separation between the heroic dead who ascend to Valhalla or Folkvangar and the vast majority of humanity who follow a different, less celebrated path into the depths of the Underworld. Helheim is, in essence, the default destination for most mortals. Beyond the aged and the infirm, the halls of Helheim also welcome those who die by drowning or other inglorious accidents, deaths that do not involve the valor of combat. This broad category ensures that countless individuals, from the humble farmer to the unfortunate traveler, eventually join the silent throngs under Hell's dominion. The emphasis is not on their moral standing in life, but rather on the circumstances of their death, making Helheim a neutral ground rather than a place of divine judgment for sins committed in life. It is simply where most people go. It is also worth noting that the very young, those who die before reaching an age of maturity, or before they can distinguish themselves in any way, would likely also find their way to Helheim. Their lack of opportunity for heroic deeds naturally precludes them from the warrior paradises. Thus, Helheim encompasses a wide spectrum of ages and walks of life, united only by the manner of their passing. This makes Hell's realm a truly diverse, if somber, assembly of the deceased, representing the common fate of mortal existence. Criminals and oathbreakers, individuals who might be expected to suffer greater fates, also likely enter Helheim. While Norse mythology does allude to a specific place called Nastrand, often depicted as a shore of corpses where venomous serpents dwell, it is believed to be a subset of Helheim, or a particularly unpleasant section reserved for the most heinous offenders. However, the general destination for anyone who did not die heroically, regardless of their moral compass, ultimately fell under Hell's jurisdiction, showcasing her expansive authority over the dead. The residents of Helheim are often depicted as pale, ghostly figures, retaining some semblance of their former selves but lacking the vigor and warmth of life. They are referred to as the, quote, weakly, quote, who live in hell, suggesting a continuation of existence, albeit a diminished one. They are not necessarily suffering torment, but rather experiencing a quiet, perpetual stasis, a life without passion or purpose, an eternal waiting. This subtle difference distinguishes Helheim from the more actively punitive hells found in other religious traditions. Even gods and other supernatural beings can find themselves in Helheim under specific circumstances. The most famous example is Baldur, the beloved god of light, who after his tragic death descended to Helheim. This incident dramatically illustrates the inescapable power of Hell's domain, proving that even divine beings are subject to her authority if they die in a manner that falls under her purview. Baldur's presence underscores the idea that Helheim is not just for mortals, but is a fundamental, unyielding component of the cosmic order, welcoming all who enter via the appropriate route. In essence, the population of Helheim is a testament to the universality of death for all but the most exceptional warriors. It is a cold, silent gathering place for the vast majority, an assembly of the unheroic, the aged, the infirm, and the unfortunate. They are the quiet multitude, existing in a perpetual twilight, awaiting whatever cosmic destiny awaits them when the final threads of fate unravel during Ragnarok. Helheim stands as a stark reminder that most lives end not in glory, but in a quiet fading, a descent into the patient stillness of the goddess's domain. Part 4. Queen of the Underworld. Why do even gods fear her? Hel, as the undisputed queen of the Underworld, commands a respect and fear from even the mighty Aesir gods that speaks volumes about her power and the fundamental nature of her domain. This fear is not born of malice on her part, but rather from the unyielding, absolute authority she wields over death itself. Once a soul crosses into Helheim, it falls entirely under her jurisdiction, a jurisdiction that even Odin, the Allfather, cannot easily bypass or challenge. Her power is intrinsic to the cosmic order, representing the finality that all, even gods, must eventually confront. The episode involving Baldur's death vividly illustrates Hel's formidable power. When the gods plead for Baldur's return from Helheim, Hel agrees, but only under an impossible condition, that every single living thing in the 9 realms weep for him. The failure to meet this condition, due to the giantess Thok, likely Loki in disguise, sealed Baldur's fate in Helheim. This demonstration shows that Hel is not swayed by divine pleas or emotional appeals. Her rules are absolute, and she is an impartial, unwavering enforcer of the cosmic laws governing death. Her word is law within her domain, even for a god as beloved as Baldur. The gods' fear of Hel also stems from her lineage. As one of Loki's monstrous children, along with Fenrir and Jormungandr, she embodies a primal, untamed force that the Aesir sought to contain but never truly conquer. While her siblings were bound or cast out, Hel was given a realm, a testament to the inescapable nature of what she represented. This inherent connection to chaotic, world-ending forces adds another layer to the gods: apprehension, as they recognize the potential for disruption that lies within Loki's progeny, even in one who seems to administer her realm with stoic impartiality. Her very appearance, half beautiful and half decayed, is also a source of unease for the gods. It is a constant, stark reminder of mortality and the unpleasant reality of decomposition that even divine beings would rather avoid contemplating. Hel embodies the ultimate dissolution, the stripping away of life and beauty, and this visual representation of death's finality is profoundly unsettling. She is the embodiment of the end, a concept that even immortal gods, despite their power, cannot entirely escape or control. Hel's power lies in her absolute control over the dead. She holds the key to the release of souls, and as Ragnarok approaches, this authority becomes paramount. The prophecy of the army of the dead, rising from Helheim to march with Loki against the gods in the final battle, solidifies her strategic importance and the dread she inspires. She controls a vast, silent host that, when mobilized, poses a catastrophic threat to the established order. This potential for an apocalyptic uprising from her realm makes her a figure of immense and enduring concern for the Aesir. Moreover, the gods' fear of Hel is a recognition of their own vulnerability. Despite their divinity, they are not immune to death, and some are fated to fall during Ragnarok. Helheim, therefore, represents their potential ultimate destination, or at least a powerful force that dictates the fate of their deceased kin. She is the embodiment of an immutable natural law, a force that transcends even divine will. Her cold indifference to the plights of both mortals and gods makes her an unstoppable, fundamental aspect of the cosmos. In essence, the gods fear Hel not because she is actively malicious, but because she is the embodiment of an unavoidable truth: all life eventually ends. She is the keeper of the ultimate secret, the mistress of the final destination, and her power is absolute within her domain. Her unyielding nature, her control over the dead, and her role in the coming Ragnarok ensure that Hel remains one of the most respected and dreaded figures in the entire Norse pantheon, a silent, powerful queen whose dominion over death is truly inescapable. Part 5. Hel in Ragnarok. What army rises from the grave? As the apocalyptic prophecy of Ragnarok unfolds, Hel's role transcends that of a mere custodian of the dead, evolving into a crucial, formidable player in the final cataclysm. Her realm, Helheim, is not simply a passive resting place, but a vast reservoir of potential combatants that will be unleashed upon the Nine Realms. The ancient prophecies foretell that from the icy depths of her domain, an immense army of the dead will rise, marching forth to join the forces of chaos and destruction alongside her father, Loki, and the monstrous children of his brood. This army is composed of the very souls who populate Helheim, the countless individuals who died of sickness, old age, or by unheroic means. These are not the glorious Einherjar of Valhalla, but rather the silent, pale throngs who have long dwelled in the shadows. Their participation in Ragnarok signifies a complete overturning of the cosmic order, as even the deceased are called upon to take part in the ultimate battle. Their sheer numbers, accumulated over countless generations, represent an almost limitless legion, a chilling counterpoint to the valiant warriors of Odin. The ship Naglfar, famously constructed from the fingernails and toenails of the deceased, is foretold to be the vessel that transports this army from Helheim to the fields of Ragnarok. This grotesque detail underscores the pervasive nature of death and decay, transforming the remnants of mortal lives into an instrument of destruction. The image of Naglfar, laden with the resurrected dead, sailing across the cosmic waters, is one of the most potent and terrifying visions of the apocalypse, demonstrating Hel's ultimate power to mobilize her vast, silent kingdom. Hel herself is expected to lead, or at least play a pivotal role in leading, this army alongside Loki. While her direct actions in battle are not extensively detailed, her very presence as their queen, marshalling the forces of the Underworld, solidifies her as a major antagonist to the Aesir. Her participation marks a profound shift from her previous role as an impartial gatekeeper. In Ragnarok, she sheds her neutrality to align with the forces destined to challenge the gods. Her control over the dead becomes a weapon, a testament to the destructive potential inherent in the cessation of life. The rising of the dead from Helheim injects a unique element of psychological terror into Ragnarok. The gods are not just fighting giants and monsters, but also the resurrected shades of countless mortals, an unending tide that blurs the lines between life and death. This challenges the very notion of a peaceful rest in the afterlife, suggesting that even in death, there is no ultimate escape from the cosmic conflicts. The army of Hel is a stark reminder that even the quietest corners of the universe will be drawn into the final, all-consuming conflagration. Hel's decision to unleash her army is not necessarily an act of personal vengeance, but rather an integral part of the destined cosmic cycle. Ragnarok is a preordained event, a necessary cataclysm that leads to the rebirth of the world. Her actions, though devastating, are therefore part of a larger fated plan. Her army of the dead is a crucial component in dismantling the old world order, paving the way for a new creation. Her power to resurrect and command such a host is unparalleled, making her a truly terrifying and essential force in the world's end. Thus, Hel's participation in Ragnarok signifies the unleashing of an unfathomable force, an army drawn from the very fabric of mortality. It is a chilling testament to her ultimate dominion, not just over individual souls, but over the collective force of all who have ever died. The image of this silent, pale host, marshaled by their unique queen, marching to battle, underscores the all-encompassing nature of Ragnarok, where even the dead are called upon to play their part in the fiery, icy demise of the old world. Part 6. Death and Duality. Why is Hel not just evil? Hel's character, with her striking, half-beautiful, half-rotting appearance, fundamentally embodies the concept of duality, making her far more complex than a simple antagonist or an embodiment of pure evil. While her dominion over the dead and her chilling association with decay can certainly inspire dread, her role in Norse mythology is primarily one of order and necessity rather than malicious intent. She is a natural force, an essential component of the cosmic balance, rather than a malevolent entity actively seeking to inflict suffering. Her existence is about management, not cruelty. Her realm, Helheim, further underscores this duality. While often depicted as bleak and cold, it is not explicitly a place of active torment for most of its inhabitants. Instead, it serves as a designated destination for those who die of natural causes, a place of quiet stasis rather than fiery punishment. This distinction is crucial. If Hel were truly evil, her realm would likely be a place of endless suffering for all who enter, regardless of their deeds. The fact that it is largely a place of passive existence suggests a more neutral, administrative role for its queen. Hel's impartiality is another key aspect that distances her from pure evil. When Baldur dies and the gods beg for his return, Hel agrees, but under a condition that is difficult, yet not inherently unfair within her cosmic framework. She is bound by rules and prophecies, and her decisions are based on these parameters, rather than personal whims or sadistic desires. She is a keeper of the cosmic order, ensuring that the boundaries between life and death are respected and maintained, even if that means denying the gods their beloved Baldur. The duality in her appearance itself reflects a deeper philosophical understanding of death. It acknowledges both the sorrow and decay associated with the end of life, but also hints at a different kind of beauty, a peaceful rest, or even the dignity of the transition. This nuanced portrayal prevents a simplistic villainization of death, recognizing its multifaceted nature as both an ending and a necessary stage in the cycle of existence. Hel simply represents this unavoidable truth, not a force that revels in it. Her connection to Loki, while placing her in a lineage often associated with chaos and destruction, does not automatically brand her as evil. Loki himself is a figure of complex morality, a trickster who often brings about both misfortune and innovation. Hel, similarly, represents a powerful, essential force that, while potentially destructive, especially during Ragnarok, also serves a vital function in maintaining the universe's equilibrium. She is not a demon, but a goddess of a necessary, if grim, domain. Furthermore, Hel's power is not used for arbitrary cruelty against the living. Her focus is on her realm and its inhabitants. She doesn't actively seek to harm mortals or gods outside of her fated role in Ragnarok. Her reign is one of order within the Underworld, managing the vast population of the deceased, and ensuring that the dead remain separate from the living. This administrative function, though somber, is vital for the proper functioning of the cosmos, preventing chaos and the blurring of boundaries. In conclusion, Hel is not simply an embodiment of evil, because her actions and her realm are driven by cosmic necessity and impartiality rather than malicious intent. Her duality reflects the complex nature of death itself, encompassing both decay and a form of bleak peace. She is a powerful, unyielding force, an essential part of the Norse worldview, serving her role as the quiet, yet formidable, Queen of the Dead, maintaining a crucial balance in the grand tapestry of existence. Part 7. From Myth to Gothic. Why does Hel still haunt us? Hel, the enigmatic Norse goddess of the dead, transcends the ancient myths to exert a powerful, enduring influence on modern imagination, particularly within the realms of Gothic literature, art, and popular culture. Her haunting presence stems from several key aspects of her mythos that resonate with fundamental human anxieties and fascinations about death, decay, and the unknown. She embodies a dark romanticism, a profound sense of the inevitable, and a unique aesthetic that has proven timeless in its appeal to the macabre. Her most striking feature, the half-beautiful, half-rotting visage, is a profoundly Gothic image. It speaks to the inherent beauty found even in decay, the unsettling allure of the grotesque, and the stark contrast between life and death. This visual duality is a cornerstone of Gothic aesthetics, which often explores themes of corruption, ruin, and the decay of both flesh and spirit. Hel's appearance perfectly encapsulates the Gothic fascination with the intertwined nature of beauty and horror, making her a perennial source of inspiration for dark artistry. The realm of Helheim itself contributes significantly to her enduring allure. Described as cold, dark, and perpetually shrouded in mist, it is the quintessential Gothic underworld. It is a place of shadows, silence, and melancholy, far removed from the vibrant world of the living. This imagery taps into a universal human fear of the unknown after death, but also a certain contemplative serenity. Gothic narratives often feature such isolated, desolate settings, acting as backdrops for existential dread and profound introspection, making Helheim a perfect literary setting. Hel's role as a silent, impartial arbiter of the dead adds to her mystique. She is not a screaming demon or a torturer, but a powerful, unyielding queen who simply sins. This stoic, almost indifferent power is more terrifying than active malice, as it represents the inescapable, unfeeling nature of death itself. Gothic villains and anti-heroes often possess such a quiet, profound power, a sense of predestined authority that chills precisely because it lacks overt emotion. Her unwavering gaze holds the cold truth of mortality. Furthermore, Hel's identity as an outcast, the monstrous child of Loki cast into the underworld, resonates with Gothic themes of the misunderstood, the ostracized, and the marginalized. Gothic protagonists often find themselves isolated, bearing a burden that sets them apart from society. Hel, in her majestic solitude within Helheim, perfectly embodies this trope, making her a figure of both fear and a certain melancholic sympathy. She is a queen, but also a prisoner of her own nature and domain. Her presence in Ragnarok, commanding an army of the dead, transforms her from a static keeper of souls into an active force of destruction. This escalation of power and her association with the end of the world provides a dramatic, apocalyptic element that Gothic narratives often embrace, exploring grand-scale destruction and the unraveling of order. The image of the dead rising under her command is inherently terrifying and visually stunning, providing a powerful narrative hook for dark fantasies and modern interpretations of mythology. In essence, Hel's enduring power in our collective imagination, particularly within the Gothic sensibility, lies in her ability to embody the most profound and unsettling aspects of death, its duality, its inevitability, its cold impartiality, and its potential for both peace and cataclysm. She is a symbol that refuses to be simplified, haunting us with her unique blend of the beautiful and the grotesque, reminding us that even in death there is a queen who waits.